Hey guys, how's it going? I'm gonna set up this room for Rami. We're gonna have our one-on-one session. So if you guys want to sit in, you guys are more than welcome. But if you guys have questions, then I'm probably not gonna be able to get to them because I'm not gonna have the actual YouTube open. I just have this streaming. But this session is a one-on-one session with Rami, so I can only answer his questions right now. But if you guys, again, if you guys want to sit in and watch, you guys are more than welcome. So let me just finish setting up this room real quick. And then let me send this link out to Rami so we can hop in. And I think we should be good to go. So let me send him a link real quick. I think we should be good. Just waiting for him to show up real quick, and then we can take these trades. So our US 30 shot back in profit. It's looking pretty good so far. I'm holding on to it. I'm not touching it at all. Just letting it run. And then we'll see how this plays out. All right. It's good so far. Let me just get this started. We can take a look. Let me see if there's any scalps here. Taken. So that US 30 scalp looks fine. There's no new ones since then. Let's see, just this morning, right over here. Yeah, rejection off this point. 2 entries right there. One for full TP right there. Another one right there for another full TP. All right, I'm just waiting for Rami to show up, guys, and then we can get started with this session. Let's check the other pairs over here. Some nice stuff for S&P as well. Let's see. Wow, yeah, some nice entries here for S&P. So it's been good right there. And then a couple ones down here as well. Nice. TP right there. Another one currently running right here as well. S&P, NASDAQ. Hey guys, if you're just joining, I'm just waiting for Rami to show up and we're going to start his mentoring session. So if you guys want to sit in, feel free. But if you guys have questions, I'm probably not going to be able to get to them since this is the session specifically for Rami's questions. So we'll get started shortly. I'm just looking at some scalps that we possibly could have entered earlier if we wanted to. But yeah, US 30 is looking good. Our position's currently in profit, pretty nice. If you took the scalp, it would have hit full TP. And then our full position right here as well is running. So I still have this active right now. Let me check my positions over here. Just gonna refresh my window. To my account. All right, currently in profit about 400 bucks. Not bad. So So I pretty much covered pretty much would have covered the scalp earlier. It's in profit about 400 bucks. So I'm going to probably push it to 500, move my stop loss and profit to cover that scalp from earlier today. And then try to continue riding it. Let's see, Rami's still on his way. So when he hops in, we'll be ready to go. Let me just check the chat real quick. Looks like we have a pretty good amount of new members today. So it looks pretty solid for the most part. So I'm going to show up. All right, while we're waiting, I'm going to take a look at the Forex pairs over here to see how everything else is running. And then we'll see if there's anything else that we might have missed today. So odd CAD, nothing there. Odd CHF. We're still waiting for this to break and close above this structure before entering. Odd JPY still pushing up like we mentioned. Odd NZD still waiting for that to push up. Odd USD, this might be setting up for a buy entry if it closes above this structure. But we'll see. This candle is about to close in about 5 minutes, but then we're going to go into the swap. So if we do enter this trade, it's going to be a late entry. Let's see if there's anything else that we can possibly look at right here as well. Let's see. Right here's pretty nice. Rejection off structure. Buy signal. Breaking structure above here. Provide for a nice long entry right there. So I'll be marking that as well. Possible late entry. Nice. KJPY is about to hit full TP. CHF JPY still waiting for this push upwards. Euro odd. This could have been a decent entry as well. Check this real quick. Yeah, this could have been an entry right here. It's breaking close past structure, push down to there. Possible late entry. Euro CAD, still waiting for that to push down. Euro CHF, full TP on that one. EG, still waiting for this to push down from this point. Possibly wait for a sell signal. EJ, nothing there. EN, this is our position that's currently active right now. We're still waiting for it to swing back down. Euro USD, waiting for that to close above there. GA, waiting for that to close below there. GC, nothing there. CHF, nothing there. GJ, nothing there. GN, waiting for this to close below here. GU, waiting for that to close above. NZD CAD, waiting for this either close above here or reject off this point, provide a sell signal for a sell. But it looks like it's going to be a buy. Looking at our NZD JPY, it's still like right below entry, so it's still pushing. USD, waiting for that to push up. USD CAD, this could be a late entry right here. Actually, it's already marked, so I'm going to be waiting for this right here. If this ends up closing below the structure, then we can enter a short position right there. It'll probably be a late entry because we're going to the swap. Same with USD CHF and USD JPY as well. So these aren't done yet. USD CAD's probably our best option right here. Hey, Rami, how's it going, bro? Can you hear me? Make sure.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Perfect, bro. I can hear you. How's it going?
Yeah, all good, bro. You?
Good, man. Just waiting for this market to pick up. It's kind of slow right now.
Yeah. I think we're in London. We got the break. Was it the market from 10 to 11?
Yeah, exactly. Same here. The swap. Well, the swap happened for the US 30 already, so we're still in our US 30. It's gonna close until like 4. So that's, I don't know what time is that for you, but I think that's about, let me see, about 2 hours. So in 2 hours, it'll be closed from now until then. And then for the same with the Forex market, it's going to close right now in about 3 minutes, and then waiting for it to reopen in about an hour.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, I must say your program is really good, man. I'm enjoying it. I'm not gonna lie.
Nice, man. You've been looking at some profits.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I started, man. I'm excited. I can't wait to keep going, bro.
Yeah, same here, bro. I think it's gonna be a good year for all of us because everyone keeps coming up with new strategies. Normally, it's just me looking up strategies, but a lot of members, you know, they find something and then they share it with us, and then we all start using it. So it's pretty good because it seems like every week there's like a new strategy that we come across, and then it's gonna increase our availability of trades.
Yeah. Yeah, I was using some strategy before. I paid for some guy, but at the end it wasn't all that.
Yeah, a lot of strategies. It's funny because a lot of strategies are like they're seasonal, so you'll see them work during certain times and then they stop working. For
Okay.
us, we've been using these same strategies for like years, so it's other consistency with it. So it's pretty good. Like, there'll be some times where the market's not moving right, but when it's moving
Yeah.
smoothly, it's actually pretty easy to catch a lot of moves.
Yeah, I saw that yesterday. I mean, today morning. You know the US 30, the one you caught in the morning. I actually caught them before you even
Oh, call
joined the live
it.
session.
Nice. Yes. Yeah. The scalp,
So
right?
I was a bit excited when I saw you post in the same chat. I was like, I'm on the same page then.
Yeah. No, definitely. It's actually pretty easy. A lot of people pick this up really quickly. Like, there's a lot of new traders that have no experience, and they know what to look for, right? Just the rejection, and then they're like, okay, it's so easy to just follow.
Yeah. I just need help going through like the strategies, like the 10 minutes, the 30 minutes, the 1 hour, and the 4 hours one. Just quickly. Basically, I know I get it, but I just need like for you to talk to me through it, like the entry point, like for example, for like structures and on 10 minutes,
Mhm.
like the candles. Yeah. Sometimes like doesn't give you like I don't know like the pivot points. How much does it have to cross through the candle or the wick, or does it have to like? Because some of it is a bit confusing. So you're thinking, is this a buy or is this not yet a buy? But in general, I mean, it does make sense. But I just wanted to know like just like an example of it on different
Yeah.
times, like 10 minutes, 30 minutes, and mostly 4 hours. But most of them gonna be scalping a lot.
Yeah, you can make a lot more profit scalping. For me, I'm more focused on scalping as well because it seems like more profitable than doing the normal 4
Yeah,
hour.
I definitely seen that today.
Definitely, yeah. There's like a lot of multiple positions you can take. So
Yeah.
let me see. Do you have like an example, like a candle that you were looking at and it looked confusing? Because maybe if you have one that we can look at, I can probably explain that a little better. But if not, we can find something that looks
No,
kind of.
not really. I'm not gonna lie. I was looking at it early in the morning, but I couldn't find I couldn't take a screenshot or anything of it. So, but it was just in my head, and I thought I need to ask about it.
Gotcha. Okay. So this is like one, I'll show you this example right here. I don't know if you noticed this one. This is one that confused us yesterday. It was a scalp that I took last night. It
Okay.
actually qualified for two entries. So for example, I'll back up here. For this
Mm,
right here, usually we look for the rejection off the structure and rejection off the pivot.
yeah.
And sometimes this will happen here where you'll see two entries. For me, I wasn't looking at this top entry. I was looking for the sell. So, unfortunately for me, I accidentally took this when I probably shouldn't have. So for example,
Mm,
right here, this is one that's confusing. I need to explain this more to everyone because I
okay.
think a lot of people get confused with this as well. Because you can see right here for this candle, there's a rejection off the pivot here and off the
Yeah.
structure. And then again, right here at the bottom too.
There's
So there's
double
actually
rejection.
exactly double rejection. So usually if we see this, we just skip it. But for me, unfortunately, I wasn't looking at this lower end. I didn't have the zone drawn up. So this is all I saw. So when I saw this, I was like, okay, I'm going to take a sell. So I ended up
Yeah.
taking the
But
sell here. And then, I think you saw what happened. It ended up hitting stop.
yeah, it deceived you a little bit.
Exactly. It went the other way. And then it
I,
just
I
went
think
straight up like that.
yeah, I think that's why it's so important to draw those zones.
Yeah. Yeah. So like me, before I would just draw like a certain zones, right? But now I think it's more important to just draw all of them, even though you're not looking. Because I missed
Yeah.
this down here. But it's funny because I took this trade here, I lost, but then I ended up taking the other one. So I ended
Yeah.
up hitting that. And then I think after that loss, I took the one that followed it. I think it was right here. Yeah,
Yeah.
this one right here. So I ended up taking this trade. And it was fine because I took that small loss, but then I ended up taking a win off this one,
Okay.
which
That's the
was
good thing about this is you can always come back from your losses.
exactly. It's so quick that if you're paying attention, you can catch it. Like if you have one loss here, that's fine. Just 500 pips. It's no big deal because
Mm,
right on the next entry over here, you can take this one. And then I think
yeah.
this one hit because I remember I was kind of like felt stupid because I was like I should have just waited, and then I ended up taking this one, and then it went straight to TP. So I was like, okay, cool. It covered the loss, right?
Yeah, it did. Um, So the 10-minute and the 30 minutes one, they're the same entries, right? Same entries and same rules on everything. But
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, but on the 4 hours one, can you like talk me through it in the 4 hours one?
Yeah. So on the 4 hour, it's a little more complicated because it's the movements are a lot bigger, but it does work as well. It's just here, let
Mm,
me just refresh this. I'll go back to US 30.
mm.
And then we'll go on the 4 hour. I personally haven't used it on the 4 hour, but I've seen other people use it and they say it works perfectly fine. So I'm like, oh, maybe I should try it too because it seems like it's pretty accurate, right?
Yeah, I mean on 10 minutes and even on the 4 hours as well, just going through some chats, it actually makes sense. Like even the signals and that. But
Exactly.
I wasn't just sure like the entry points and I went through the videos. I just started studying it not long, so I'm still like, and I still need help on this one.
Nice. Yeah, no, definitely. So I'm just gonna look at it here. I haven't looked at it myself on the 4 hour, but just looking at these here, there's actually a
Yeah,
lot of entries. Like even for example, right here, it's the same thought process. We just look for the rejection off the pivot right here, rejection
mm,
off the pivot, and then rejection off the structure. Same exact thing that we're looking for. And then
yeah,
if you were to take a long position here. The only problem with you doing it on the 4 hour is that the risk is a lot higher because it's a bigger move,
yeah,
but it
definitely.
but I think it's still pretty solid. Like for example, here this is I guess 1500 pips if we want to run the normal move for the day, and it looks like see this might have hit stop loss on this one, the first one. So on that, so I think for 4 hour you might have to go on higher time frame. Maybe not higher time frame, higher stop loss and TP because I think 1500 is too tight for the 4 hour because we use the 1500 for the 10 minute. So if you're doing
Okay.
the 4 hour, you might have to use something a lot wider, maybe like 3000. I think that might be a better range for this.
Mm,
But obviously, if you're taking a 3000 risk, it's going to be a lot riskier for you to
yeah,
take
that's a
the trade.
lot of risk. And
Exactly. I mean, it does hit. So if you follow it like that, it eventually hits. It takes a while. Right here, it takes about
it's crazy though how many take profits that have been hitting.
exactly right. Yeah. So right here,
Mm.
if you ran the same strategy right here, one, two, there's actually two entries right there because you have this red
So
one.
is it, so if you get like two entries, do you like stack up on them like two? Do you get like do you open like two positions on them?
Yeah, sometimes I do. It depends if it looks proper to me. So if I see this, like you see, it's moving very smoothly. If I see
Yeah,
it moving smooth, then I'll stack the positions. If it's like this choppy, where it's going back and forth between the pivots, then
yeah,
I only take one position. Maybe just test it first, test it to see if it starts to move outwards, and then
yeah,
I'll move from there. Like for example, here, if I took this trade here, I would take
yeah.
the first one. If it hits, I'm like, okay, it's actually working. So I'm gonna wait for the next one,
Mm,
right? To possibly give up another entry over here, and then I would
okay.
take it again. So like right here, as it comes back down, if I see another entry, then I would take it. But it's really it's really subjective. It's something that you kind of pick up. The more you apply the strategy, you'll start to see patterns. Like you'll see
Yeah, definitely. Like the more I was doing it in the morning, it actually makes sense, and I was like, just like you just have to keep going doing it. That's how it sticks to your head.
exactly,
And
yeah. Like for me,
yeah.
yeah, for me, I don't even think about it. I see the rejection. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna enter a market buy right here. I just take the trade, and then I set the TP stop loss
You see with
after.
the rejection. Sorry, we see you see with the rejection. Does it have to be like just inside the zone, and it doesn't have to like it just has to touch the zone and the pivot points, right?
Exactly, yeah. So the wick just has to touch it. It doesn't have to be outside of it. So like for example, let me see if I could find one over here that
Mm.
that might be useful. So let me just go back over here.
But if the body closes out of the zone, does that count?
Yes, so that's fine. The main thing that we're looking for is just the wick rejection. The body doesn't really matter. The only importance for the body is if we're looking for the pivot. So if the pivot touches the body, then
Mm.
that's when we avoid it. But if it touches the zone, it's
Yeah,
completely fine. Like let's see if I can find an example here. Um, oh yeah, so like this right here. See this? Let me go back over here. This red one, you can see that the body is still within the zone, right?
yeah,
So that's fine because you see the wick rejection. The wick is touching the pivot and it's touching the zone as well.
yeah.
So right there, the wick is touching both, but the body is still within the pivot with the zone.
Mm.
That's fine because you would still enter long position here, and then your TP
500
stop loss,
pips.
yeah, 500 pips. And then if you let that run there, see, it would still be fine. And there's actually two entries here. There's an entry for this red one and
Red
also
one and the
green.
green one.
So,
Okay.
so like if I was looking here, like for example, how I was mentioning if it's running smooth, like if you look back right here, it's obviously, very strong trend up.
Yeah.
So if I see this here, then I would definitely take, stack these two here.
Okay, so you mean if you see the impulse before that, right?
Exactly, because it's been continuing. So you see how price moves. You kind of see a pattern when you start to look at it. It's like, okay, impulse up,
And then upwards.
yeah, retracement right here, and then you can see here there's also two entries as well. This red one and this green one. It's the same pattern. If you rewind to this point, you can see that the trend is very strong. The wider that these pivots are spread out, then the stronger the trend. So you can see right here that it's kind of tight because it's just moving slowly. But as soon as it breaks up, you can see it widens out very much.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, so like right here, you have the pivot rejection off the red, and the same with the green. So another, obviously two entries right here if you wanted to, and then it just, obviously it runs to TP right there eventually.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I think I get it.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. You see the pattern again here: impulse up, retracement down right here, possibly.
Okay, then you just ride with it again.
See, and then perfect right there.
Yeah.
It's actually really easy if you start to see these movements, because in reality, if you draw the zones here, you can see that they respect the zone very well, right? It pushes up, comes down, pushes back up, comes down, pushes back up, and then it just keeps repeating itself over and over again. Yeah, it's funny. See how it's so exact. It comes up, retracement again.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's very, very accurate. And the more and more you practice it, the easier it'll be for you to spot. Like for me, I don't even think about it. I take the trade, and then if I lose, it's fine. It's like, okay, I'm gonna make it back on the next one.
Yeah, because there's always opportunities.
Exactly. If you're trading on the 10-minute, there's always opportunity. It doesn't matter if you trade, London session, US session, Asia session. There's always going to be an opportunity there as long as you're looking. So if you can only trade during a certain time period, 10-minute is probably the best. Obviously, if you have more time, you can do the 30-minute. A lot of the other older traders in the group, they use the 30-minute. I like the 30-minute, but I feel like it's just too risky. I'd rather risk 500 pips than risking 1,500 pips off the 30-minute, because I can take, instead of just having one loss, you lose 1,500 pips, I can have 3 losses for 500 pips. I have more opportunity.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, if you like to trade on a 30-minute, it's the same thing. 30-minute, and then even
I think I'm gonna stick to 10 minutes. I like what I saw today, so I'm gonna stick to that.
Yeah, I just like having control, because I feel like if you get too attached to one position, you could get so close to it. This is what I hate. What happens sometimes, you get so close to like your TP, and then all of a sudden, you get like a few pips below, and then all of a sudden, it just drops, and you're like, oh wow, I should have just exited.
Yeah, I think that's the good thing about this.
Exactly. And the cool thing is like, you don't have to use it just for US 30. I know for a lot of people, their account is too small to trade US 30, which is fine. It works perfectly fine, like with S&P as well. I was looking here, the S&P, it's, the same exact thing, rejection. And then, it's the same thing. It's just worth less. And of course, the pips are going to be a little less as well. But you can grow your account from S&P and then move to US 30 if you like. But it's the same thing. They move the same.
That's what I'm trying to do, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely.
With Forex, I mean the normal currencies. How do you determine your profit?
For the
for example, if I want to trade, like, let's say AUD JPY, or
yeah, let me pull it up for you right here. So do you want to trade it on the 10-minute, or I think
on a 10-minute? Let's just say on a 10-minute. Like, where would be my take profit if I was to buy somewhere there at 12 p.m. I think or something.
Gotcha. Okay, 12 p.m. So that is it this one right here?
It's right there before the impulse, I think.
Oh, this one over here?
Yeah, let's say if there was a structure there, if I was to buy it there, like, where would be my take profit? How do I determine take profit on these normal currencies?
Perfect. So like the way that I would do it personally is So let me just draw these zones here because there's actually entry there. So it looks actually like a good one. There's an entry right there. There's also,
I'll call it right then.
yeah, there's actually a lot here. Let me see if there's anything else that we can possibly use, for example, here. The way to determine, what the sweet spot is, I only know US 30 because I trade that every day. So I know exactly how it moves. For RJPY, I don't personally trade this, so I don't know what the sweet spot is, but it'll come with like practice. So like, for example, here, if you were to take, let me see where this entry is. Okay, so like this one right here is a perfect entry. So for example, right here, we have the rejection off the pivot and rejection off the structure. Obviously, we would enter the long position right here.
Yeah.
So you can see here it's only 3 pips. This isn't like you're not going to make any profit off this if you're trading only 3 pips because you need to cover the spread too. So what I would do is I would usually put it at the swing, like somewhere like here. But even for this, I think this is too tight. 7 pips, it's still a little too tight because I think your spread's probably going to be maybe 1 to 3 pips. So if this is the case here, you pay the spread going in 3 pips, pay the spread going out 3 pips. You're going to be only left with like 1 pip profit. It's not going to be worth the effort. So I would probably maybe use 10 pips, or this is another trick that I do too. So what I do is I'll zoom out. I'll just click the zoom out button. I will use the long position tool here, and then I'll just click on it. I'll let TradingView calculate it for me. So I click that there, and you can see that they calculate it to 20 pips, 20.5 pips.
Okay.
So TradingView, the way that they do is they generally, when you use this tool that I just showed you, what they do is they'll calculate the swing. So they'll move the stop loss to the swing, and then they'll add the ATR, which is the average true range. So it's going to add some cushion on top of it.
So it's already like they already set a little target for you to take profit and a stop loss for you.
Exactly, yeah. And if I run this forward here, you can see that it's pretty accurate, right?
Yeah.
It's on point. Like it gets to you'll exit with profit before it ends up, pulling back down.
Okay. I've got another question. You see with like FTMO, how long do you reckon I could finish it with these strategies?
So if you're scalping, I've seen other
10
people.
minute strategy.
Yeah, I've seen other people because I've been, obviously I document everyone's profits. So if you see everyone's profits for FTMO, everyone is locking in, like even Uncle over here, he's locking in like 1,000, 2,000 a day. So if you're doing that and you're doing 100K, you only need to make 10K, right, to pass. So you can possibly pass within just a few days if you're trading all day. Even like, Mark here, he's locking in like 1,000, per day as well. Even Sisuk over here is locking like 500 to 1,000. So depending on how often you trade, if you trade all day, you can probably make a couple thousand a day trading FTMO. If you have to be very, very accurate, very on point. Like you can't take breaks, obviously if you want to keep stacking the profits. So if you're trading all day and then for like a whole week, you can possibly pass within that week. You can probably hit the profit target within a few days, maybe 1-2 days, maybe 3 days. But then once that happens, you just need to trade the minimum 10 days. So I'm sure you know how the requirements work, right?
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to know, like, with this strategy, how many, like, how long do you think I could finish it? Plus, what risk percentage do you use on your account, if you don't mind me asking?
So it depends. So if you're going for conservative like me, because I'm already funded, so I don't need to, reach a high profit. Because if you do that, too much risk. For me, I lock in consistent profits. I don't go for like, home run. I don't try to go for the big wins. I just want to go for profit here, profit there, and then just keep adding it. So for me, when I'm scalping, I take a standard lot. So for US 30, this is the only thing that I trade for my FTMO. When I go for 500 pips and I use a standard lot, I lock in usually about $500 per trade. And I probably take maybe 10 to 20 trades a day if I'm scalping. So, for example, here, if I'm taking 10 to 20 trades a day, obviously if we'll just do a middle ground, maybe 15 trades. And if there are all wins, so we'll say 15 wins, $500, I can make 7,000. But that, obviously that doesn't happen. You don't have like straight wins. You'll have some losses. So say we have 15 wins and then say maybe we have 6 losses. So like that's the profit for there. And then we'll do like 6 losses times 500. So we lost 3,000 there, right? So what we'll do is we'll do 7,500 minus 3,000. And then for the day, I would have locked in maybe 4,500. Your profit target for 100K is 10,000. So you just need, 2 or 3 days of trading consistently, and you can pass right away pretty much.
What sessions do you say are good to trade? Do you reckon our Asian session is any good to trade on 10?
Asia is like, it's hit or miss, bro. Like sometimes you'll take a trade and then it'll just go sideways for 5 hours, it won't even move. And then sometimes it'll just spike up. So usually for Asia session, I only take like maybe 1 or 2 trades during Asia session for scalping. Sometimes I don't take any trades. It just depends on how I feel. If I feel very confident that day, I'm like, okay, I'll trade Asia session. But usually I only take maybe 1 or 2 trades during Asia session. And usually what happens here, so let me see if I could find an example for, because what happens is usually I'll take the trade during Asia session, but it won't hit until London session. Like, okay, so like, for example, here, even the one that we were just looking at right here, you can see that this trade actually was triggered in Asia session at, I think 5 p.m. my time. So from here, you can see that London actually opens like somewhere over here. So like, as you get closer to London, the volatility starts to pick up, like once you get later into Asia session. But you can see for this, if we took this trade, it would take maybe 1 or 2 hours for you to hit. Normally, we usually hit the TP within like a few, like a few candles.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to be on the safe side and see which which session should I be trading, scalping.
Yeah. So Asia session is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just you're going to be holding out for a long time. So if you take the trade, you would probably just hang on to it and just set it and forget it. You just take the trade and then let it run. But you're probably not going to see as many entries for Asia session because the market isn't very volatile. It's usually pretty slow during Asia session. Let me see if I can find something over here too. Like sometimes you'll find volatility like right here. This is pretty quick. It happens within, let's see, maybe like 1 hour. But in some situations like this right here, this is also, no, this is US session. Sometimes you'll see the market is just ranging. It's going back and forth sideways. So if that happens, you'll probably hold on to the trade until you enter London session. The best time to trade would be London into US, and then Asia session is okay. It's just you're not going to see very much movement, right? It's going to be more of a waiting game rather than waiting to enter and then entering like a lot of positions at once.
Okay, thanks for that, Shawn.
Definitely, bro.
Makes a lot of sense, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's really not that complicated. I feel like a lot of people, when they see it, they get kind of confused. But once you actually talk to me, it's actually really simple.
Yeah, it is straightforward. Not gonna lie.
Definitely.
Too good to be true. But yeah. I believe I done it today, so I actually believe in it.
Yeah, I know you're gonna believe in it more after after doing it for a couple months, because right now it's still brand new to you, so you're still in that high where you're like, oh, this is so amazing. And then over time, like for me, I have no emotion. You see me when I trade out. I trade, I win. I'm like, okay, I win. If I lose, okay, I lose. There's no emotion there.
Well, yeah, I think that's it. That's all I wanted to know, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely, bro. Yeah, if you have any other questions, feel free to let me know, because I know you're probably going to run into questions. Sometimes you'll see like candles you're going to be confused about, and if you are, exactly, if you run into it, just write down the time so that we can I can go over it with you, or I can show you my chart to show you the analysis.
I'll do that, man.
Definitely, bro.
Nah, bro. Thanks for that. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man, no problem.
All right.
All right, I'll talk to you later then.